From eastern and southern Africa, meet Timbizi and Tulege, a trio of agricultural economists specializing in agriculture and rural development at the University of Pretoria in South Africa. We will be giving you insights on COVID-19 and rural non-farm employment. Stay tuned. Why Mbizi and how is the name related to rural and farm employment? Mbizi in Zimbabwe means zebra, which is associated with the principle of majority for its black color and peace for its white color. In Kenya, Mbizi means diving, associated with the principle of movement, and in Uganda, it means a pig associated with the principle of intelligence. Rural and farm employment is increasingly becoming important among majority of the rural smallholder households in Africa. The essence is to complement their income from primary agricultural production, which is often associated with so many risks and uncertainties. If you can be able to invest in knowledge economy, we have more innovative and improved ways of conducting the rural and farm activities, then rural and farm employment can be a means of diving from poverty to economic prosperity, hence peaceful living and sustainable incomes from rural and farm employment.
Agriculture constitutes 32% of GDP in Africa. Further, it contributes to poverty reduction, creation of employment, mainly to the rural population and to urban tenants with limited job opportunities. Studies have shown that 70% of the total population in Africa earns their living through agriculture. In Zimbabwe, it creates employment and income for 60 to 70% of the population, and in Uganda, 69% of households obtain their livelihoods from subsistence farming, 82% being rural. Primary agriculture production plays a great role to rural livelihoods life. However, the contribution of rural non-farm employment is significantly becoming important. Rural non-farm employment includes all activities occurring in rural areas such as agro-processing, transport, distribution, marketing, and retail, among others, apart from primary agricultural production. It has been postulated that contribution of non-farm sector to rural economic sector is becoming significant, and it is offering an alternative to agricultural development. The rural sectors and agriculture are classified as essential services and were thus spared from the lockdowns. However, with a decline in purchasing power of consumers, as well as limitations on travel, the rural non-farm sector was affected adversely. The crisis intensified costs of access to the market and thus eroding profits of non-farm enterprises and now ultimately resulting into unemployment. In Kenya, Uganda, and Zimbabwe, well-established businesses, especially in the transport and tourism industries, collapsed or had great losses. However, new innovations have come up, especially in manufacturing and textile sector. Rural and farm employment relates to the dual economy model. According to the model, developed by W.A. Lewis in 1954, it is assumed that the economy has two sectors, that is the agriculture and industry sector. And within this economy, marginal productivity of labor in agriculture is less than wage rate. Land is fixed whereas wage rate is higher in industrial sector. It is further assumed that labor moves from agriculture to the industry sector. Profits are reinvested in capital items, resulting in greater marginal productivity and demand for labor. The shifts in marginal productivity of labor create more profits, and this happens as long as marginal cost of labor is constant. Now, the model supports the idea that on-farm surplus labor gets employed in on-farm enterprises, thereby creating employment opportunities for the landless and redundant members of rural households. This leads to an improvement in incomes of rural households and thus an overall economic growth of the rural societies.
Having looked at the relevant theory, then what is the position of the rural smallholder households? Primary agricultural production has been the main activity for the rural smallholder households. However, primary agricultural production is not a means to its end as there are forward and backward linkages that are associated with it. In the recent past, the rural and farm employment has gained popularity among the rural household as a means of diversifying income. It has been seen as a ladder to an improved capital output ratio among the rural households that can help them reduce their persistent domestic savings gap. To invest in rural and farm employment, the rural people are motivated by two factors, the push factors and the pull factors. The push factors result from negative impact of investing in purely primary agricultural production, and they include external shocks from droughts and even floods. Other impacts could be biological, like pests and diseases, and others could be socioeconomic, like limited farmland. All this leads to low productivity, hence the need to diversify. The pull factors, on the other hand, emanate from positive returns that are realized in the rural and farm employment. For example, profit maximization in rural and farm employment and the comparative advantage of rural and farm employment as a result of specialization in the non-farm activities. Some activities of the rural and farm employment include trading, agro-processing, artisan, extractive, and service activities. With COVID-19, the most affected was trading, with closure of open-air markets and blockage of some major roads leading to the markets. The least affected was service activities, with border services being the most widely used. To maintain sustainable non-farm activity, there is need to look at the relevant policy options and strategies to be implemented.
Hello guys, my name is Obidenzo Mhlanga. As a business delegate team on the policy challenges and options for rural non-farm employment, we brief the policy challenges being faced by the rural households, which include human capital, poor market access, and what is exactly those issues. For example, COVID-19. COVID-19 is accelerating policy challenges through social protection measures, which restrict the availability of transport and public gatherings, thus making it difficult for the rural households to access market and also information. Also include how an improvement in human capital, ICT literacy, and ICT infrastructure facilitates in overcoming those challenges. I thank you.
From Uganda, I'm Ronald Olusimbi. Until next time, bye.
From Kenya, this is Susan Oburu. Did you enjoy the video? If your answer is yes, then like, subscribe, and leave your comments. If you're already a subscriber, remember to turn on the notification button. Until next time, bye.